So definitely a cutter and definitely 6 from JC.
The DBS Morning News has been brought to you by Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League T20. See cricket played louder at CPL.
Hello and good morning. This is DBS This Morning, and it's a pleasure to be here with you and to have you here with us for yet another exciting show. But as usual, let's go to the news desk to check on the news of the day. Thank you so much for these news stories. Stick with us. We're going to talk about the art of Turkish coffee, and we're going to be talking to a familiar face. We'll be right back. I know a lot of you are coffee addicts. Welcome back. It's breakfast time. But let me introduce you to another way of doing coffee. Hi, welcome back to DBS This Morning. My name is Candy, and today I have the distinct pleasure of hanging out with my Turkish friend, my only Turkish friend. Her name is Oya Bain, and she is the proprietress of the Corner Cafe at the Rodney Bay Marina, where she serves authentic Turkish coffee, which is not a type of coffee, it's a ritual. So we're going to learn all about that today because we were talking about it recently, and it really highlighted the history, the culture, and everything else around the ritual of Turkish coffee. So thank you so much, Oya, for being willing to have this conversation with us.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you here.
Yeah, it's a morning show, and I know a lot of people need their coffee to have a bang start in the morning. So this is this is perfect. Yeah.
Actually, Turkish coffee is the main time that you have Turkish coffee is right after breakfast.
Mm-hmm. So you eat first.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The word breakfast in Turkish is kahvaltı, which is the base for coffee, it means. So the only reason we have a breakfast just to reach the Turkish coffee in Turkey. So yeah, the main Turkish coffee time is right after breakfast.
And you eat first, and I find it necessary to note that science is catching up with the way that you guys have been doing things, because now a lot of natural doctors are saying eat before you have your coffee, because if you drink coffee on an empty stomach, you will raise your cortisol. So as a health coach, I just needed to stick this in here. So you guys were onto something.
That's how we do it, you know, like, and actually Turkish coffee is quite a strong coffee. It's the only coffee that the coffee, grounded coffee stays in the coffee while you're drinking it.
So it's not filtered.
It's not filtered. So it is strong in caffeine and strong in aroma. So it's advised not to have it on an empty stomach. But now, as you say, the science says none of the coffees should be consumed
but they're saying if you consume it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I have recognized that you guys use very ornate cups and saucers, and it's very intricate and very, it's very glamorous. That's the word that comes to mind. So what is the history of using those types of dishes and sauces?
Let me start a little bit from the history of coffee. You know, like coffee came to Turkey from Yemen, indeed. Turkey is not a coffee producer. So in the 16th century, during the Ottoman Empire, in the apex of Ottoman Empire, during Sultan Süleyman the Magnificent, the governor of Yemen sends this dark, powdery, so-called drink to the palace. And at the beginning, everybody is a bit suspicious and doesn't make much sense. But when the governor teaches them how to make the coffee, then it becomes a big hit, and so quickly it becomes a staple in the palace. First in the palace, then in the outside of the palace, it starts to be consumed. And then it becomes a very big part of daily life. You know, if we are having a good time, then let's have a coffee, can we? If we need to talk seriously, there's an issue, we need to have a coffee first. So coffee is in every step of our day. And some special rituals require some special cups. So the cup that you use daily is more like a contemporary regular cup, it might be. But when guests come for a morning coffee to your house, which is very common in Turkey, then you have to use your nicer cups. If it's summertime, something with nice flowers and, you know, like some plants decorated. Or if it's an evening, a bit more with golds and silvers. So every time that you drink it, you have it, it should match the vibe.
Yes.
Yeah. Today I prepared my one of my spring summer cups for you.
Okay. So we're gonna have a taste of Turkish coffee and see how it's presented. And before it's brought out, there is a specific way to prepare it. And you were explaining to me recently that the sugar goes in whilst it's being prepared because you can't mix it up after. And I saw things like it being prepared in sand.
In hot sand, heated sand.
There's so
on
many.
The barbecue, you bury the jezve. Jezve is the specific tiny pot where we cook Turkish coffee. In these days, we all have these electronic machines which makes perfect Turkish coffee, but the traditional way is, and they are generally copper. It's a tiny pot.
Pure copper pot.
Yes, yes. Tiny pot which you cook Turkish coffee in. And there are very specific rules about making Turkish coffee if you want a good outcome. When you receive the coffee, it should have a thick foam on the top.
A thick foam from the coffee itself?
From the coffee itself. So to get that nice thick foam, you have to use a copper jezve. You have to use room temperature or cold water. And anything that you're gonna put in it, like sugar, has to be added to the cold water. And you put your Turkish coffee, and then you just stir it once or twice, very slightly, and then leave it. You leave it to its own pace. The slower the cooked, the better the froth is, and the aroma comes out better.
And how long does that process usually take from cold water to being cooked?
Couple of minutes, you know, like I think 3-4 minutes. And one thing is that when it starts boiling, you have to catch it at that point. So you don't just put your jezve on the stove and leave. You have to wait. We say that you have to cook with the coffee. So you wait there. When it starts to boil up, you first put the foam into the cups. Divide them into the cups equally. Then you go for a second boil.
I think we have some. So while you're telling us, let's see what it looks like while Oya's telling us about it. And oh, that's so pretty. Oh my goodness.
Yes. These are my spring summer cups.
So I see the thick foam.
Yes. Lovely.
Look at this, guys. And is this part of the setup?
Yes.
Okay.
This is for your water. Now, when I'm done with telling you how to cook it, then I will talk about why it's being served this way.
Thank you.
So you go to the fire for one more time, boil the second half, and then again divide it into two. So when you order Turkish coffee, the first question you get is, how would you like it? Because as I said, the sugar has to be added while you're cooking it. Because if you want to add the sugar afterwards and mix it, then you will kill the foam, which is not ideal.
Okay, and what's in this?
Okay, that is rose Turkish delights. Normally, a real a Turkish coffee person would drink the coffee without any sugar. But considering
I'm not
it's
a real
quite, considering that it's quite a strong coffee, it's served with Turkish delight, so it softens that strength.
So how does it work? Do you take a bite of this and then?
Yes, the first thing to do when you're served coffee like this, you first take your water, wash your mouth, cleanse your palate.
So this isn't vodka?
No. No. You wash your mouth, you cleanse your palate, and leave some for the end. And then you can please have the first one. Let me get one. This is the rose one. We love these Turkish delights. Then you start with the sweetness in your mouth.
Oh.
You start sipping your coffee. That is so good, I must say.
That is rocket fuel, guys. I'll be flying home.
When you are done with your coffee and your Turkish delight, since the coffee powder is in the cup at the bottom right now, you drink the coffee all the way down to that muddy residue and you stop it there. But if any residue gets into your mouth, that is this water
What the water is
cleans
for.
it at the very end.
Okay.
And that's why you first drink more than half to cleanse your palate, and then when you're done with your coffee, finish up the water just to wash your mouth one more time.
Yeah.
It is so funny. It's like in Turkey, as I said, the morning after breakfast, morning time is the first time you have your coffee. But then after every meal, we understand the meal is finished when we have our Turkish coffee.
Even
After
at night, I've
lunch.
seen you drink
Yeah,
very
yeah,
strong
yeah.
coffee at night, and I don't
Yes.
get that oil.
I believe that Turkish
Are you
people have a specific gene that is not affected by caffeine so much, because almost after every dinner that we have Turkish coffee, and it's generally being served without even being asked. You
It's
know,
just
like just
understood that you're gonna
comes.
have
You
it
know,
after
like
dinner.
it just comes.
Okay.
And it's a part of some more important rituals as well. For example, when a man wants to marry a lady, he's supposed to go to the lady's family to ask for their blessings, for their permission. And this is a big thing in Turkey. So when he comes to the parents' house with his family to ask for the girl's parents for their blessings, after he makes his request, he explains himself. If the girl's parents tells the girl, let's have the coffees, that means yes. You know, like we are blessing your wish, and let's seal it with coffee. And at that point, in the old days when the arranged marriages were very popular, if the girl doesn't like the boy, but just the parents said yes, the girl would give coffee with salt in it to the groom to be, to let him know that indeed she's not interested.
Wow.
She doesn't want it. And if she serves a coffee with sugar or normal coffee, well made,
Then he understands.
that means yes, I also.
That sounds
I'm
like it would be
happy.
the basis for a good saying, like, don't let me put salt in your coffee.
But you know, in today's world, that was the old days. Now there's no arranged marriages anymore or anything. But today, what they do, they generally serve the groom to be, no matter what, a very salty coffee, and watch him. If he stays quiet, doesn't say anything, and goes all the way down, they say, oh, he loves you so much, and he will be very patient with you.
The salty
But
coffee.
if he makes a fuss about it, then that guy is, let's think one more time.
Okay.
So it's a part of any ritual.
Yeah, guys, you saw what I meant. So this is such a rich and beautiful culture. It's not just about how it's prepared, but all of, you know, the intricacies of and stories. And
Yeah.
I even read about Turkish coffee being prohibited at one point. So we can go
Yes.
on and on and on about this.
I can talk all day about that. Really.
Yes. But for now, we need to just thank Oya for sharing a very special part of her culture with us, which you can enjoy at the Corner Cafe in the Marina if you're around. And thank you for watching. This is DBS This Morning.
Thank you.
Welcome back. So I'm about to speak with George Senkwa, or some of us know him as Platinum George for some of his catchy tunes from back in the early 2000s. But he's on a different mission these days. Let's sit with him and have that conversation. Welcome back to DBS This Morning, and I'm here with George Senkwa, or a lot of us know him as Platinum George. Now, he doesn't know that he was one of my favorite soca artists because he brought his unique style and flair and flavor to the art form. What happened to that? Do you still perform?
Well, I do perform, but just on a different scale right now.
Okay, all right. Well, what we're here to talk about today is something quite different. He's been doing some work with our nation's youth every year. They host
The Youth Fest.
a youth fest,
Yeah.
and the group is called
The YPG.
the YPG,
Yeah,
the Youth
Power Group.
Power Group, and it's attached to a church, but it's not necessarily a religious thing. So anybody from anywhere, from any walk of life, can participate.
Yes.
So let's hear more about that, because our youth definitely need to be more engaged in positive and uplifting
Right.
activities.
So what the event is basically pointing out to youth who suffer with depression, you know, youth who've been bullied in school, who've been abused, you know, and what we have today with our youth, they hold a lot of secrets. You know, they go through so many things that even their own parents do not know what they are going through. You know, sometimes you find your son or your daughter all of a sudden just want to be left alone. They want to lock themselves in their room, or they just focus more on their phone and social media. And then this is where sometimes the depression already kicks in, because most youth do not even know what depression is. Most youth, not even youth only, but people, they believe it's just I'm having a bad day or I'm not in my mood. But depression, these are the signs of depression. So with the Youth Fest, we are basically a youth group. We feed over 150 youth every Sunday. This event is a free event, all right, where we're gonna have drama, music, entertainment, and we're gonna have a health fair as well. You know what we're gonna do? Free counseling. We're gonna speak about topics for the youth that probably you, the parents, are probably ashamed to speak about with your youth, but we're gonna keep everything on a certain level, not going overboard. All right, so you guys will look out for me, you know, alongside we have Mr. Maki as well. Most people remember him as Mad Ellie. You know, we are going to be at Constitution Park on the 26th of August.
And I know you're parents, because I remember back in the day driving to cul-de-sac coming from Soufrière, and I saw a whole lot of soca artists on the side of the road at a bar. And I
Yeah.
called a friend of mine to say, hey, what's going on? And they're like, we're at Platinum George's child's christening.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
So
yes.
how old is that child now? Because I know your role as a parent probably makes you even more passionate about these causes.
Yes, right now my son is 17 years old. And what happened is,
Wow.
you see, my son suffered with depression and I did not know. You know, because I suffered with depression. You know, when people saw me on stage, you know, performing, behind the scenes when I left the stage, I was depressed. I was also suicidal as well, because I was unhappy with my life. And imagine my son, you know, normally we hear him in the house walking around thinking that, you know, going for something to eat. But he was actually trying to kill himself in the house. And I had no idea. And you see, when I got this news, it made me now more passionate and more revolt in terms of helping St. Lucia's youth. Because this is what many parents go through, but they do not understand or do not know the way to approach their youth. When I heard that from my son, I did not even know how to approach my son on that topic. You know, it took me by surprise, being a tough father, you know, and I raised my son to be free, to make his own decision. I don't want him to make decision based on what I want, but I want him to make decision on where he wants to take his life. You know, and you might say that you give your child everything that they need. You give them brand new clothes, the most expensive shoes, the most expensive phone, but yet still they are depressed. And then we have to find the root of the problem. So this is one of the reasons why we are pushing. And you know what we're gonna do, no matter if we have one youth, 2, or we have 10, we will show each youth individual. No matter, we will not measure the amount of love or attention that we will give them. Doesn't matter if they are short, they are tall, doesn't matter where their background come from, but it's going to be a love that is going to be shared equally among them. True.
So look up something called the self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm leaving you with some homework today. And we're going to remind people that it's on August the 26th at Constitution Park.
From 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
And free food, free drinks. If that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what else will.
Come on, we have our free healthcare as well. You know, you could come get your pressure, you know.
By your blood sugar levels probably as well. Okay.
So as I said, I want you to be there because we're going to transform this area. All right? We're going to give you a taste of something you have never tasted before in terms of how we approach the situation and how we can help our youth to be better tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So may I please wrap up this segment by thanking you. I hope some of you got that. If you're true Platinum George fans, you will get that. Yes. Let's wrap up this segment. Good job on what you're doing. And I'll come through on the 26th of August, and I hope to see you there. This is TBS This Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's SocaCize session. Leading the wine is Sarah and myself, Shani. Let's get ready to flaunt with the SocaCize. This morning's workout is going to be a bacchanal warm-up. Let's get ready to sweat with SocaCize. All right, so arms up. We're starting. Flick, next side, hands on the head and roll. Now we're going faster. Click, click. Hands, click and hands. We're going to the side, drop, hold it. Next side, push the hips back. A little faster, let's go. Take it up, hands on the head, roll it. Click and keep going. Let's go. 4, 2, hands. Drop it, forward, bend. Reverse the hands. Forward, back. 4 more. 3, 2. Last one. Take it up, flick, and keep going. Last set. Hands on the head, roll it. Drop and next side. Next side. Next side. Little faster. 4, 3, 2, take it up slow. Next side. Good. A little faster. Let's go. Boy. Yes. Roll it. Faster. And roll it. Click. Roll it. Forward. Reverse. And that was this morning's session. We hope you are feeling sexy, sultry, and strong. Have a wonderful day.
And thank you so very much. You have given us some of your most valuable resources, your time, your energy, and everything else when you joined us here on DBS this morning. It's been a pleasure having you. Now be well, be safe as you go out into your day today. I'm Candy. Bye.
Definitely a cutter, and definitely 6 from JC.
The DBS Morning News has been brought to you by Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League T20. See cricket played louder at CPL.